In December 2012, New Year's Eve, there's a headline in Israeli newspapers: 80-year-old Israeli woman raped by African man. And of course, the news of this just drives people insanely angry, you know? And people are incensed that a Jewish woman has been defiled by a non-Jewish man, you know, and they're out in the streets again demanding that all Africans be deported immediately because of the action, or maybe action, you know. I don't know about innocent till presumed guilty, but here, someone's been accused of a crime, and on the basis of that, the people are baying for blood and demanding that all Africans be deported from the country. Now, it was interesting because this event happened exactly 100 years after this other seminal event. You may have heard of the story of Leo Frank. This man, he owned a factory in the United States, and a young girl who worked in that factory was raped and murdered. And he was accused of the crime, and he was brought to trial. We don't know, did he do it or didn't he? We won't know, because before the court passed sentence, people broke into his jail cell and lynched him because he was Jewish. And this idea that the white race was defiled by a Jewish man, potentially, just drove people over the edge. And because of that event, the ADL was formed. The Anti-Defamation League was founded in 1913 because of the case of Leo Frank, to prevent this from happening again, this mob violence, this intense, you know, these racist hatred campaigns directed towards minority communities. You know, and that's why this group was supposedly established. But today, it's no longer an anti-hate group. It's a hate group. Because here, in 2013, last year, in the entire year of its centennial, the Anti-Defamation League did not issue even a single condemnation or word of criticism for the Israeli government because of its war on African asylum seekers. They didn't have a single word to say the entire year. And it wasn't only Abe Foxman. It was pretty much across the board. You know, with the exception of Jewish Voice for Peace, maybe, there wasn't any major mainstream Jewish organization who stood up and criticized and demanded an end to Israel's war on Africans. And it really stands out in stark contrast to these groups' positions on immigration to America, because consistently Jewish groups are the loudest in their vocal support for immigration reform to this continent, and strong advocates for a leniency towards undocumented Americans, you know? But here in North America, it plays out to their advantage because Jews are in the minority. So increased tolerance, multicultural society is good for Jewish people. It protects them. But in Israel, they don't need that protection because ethnically, Jews are the largest group in Israel. They're in the majority, so they don't need minority rights to be respected. So these groups are silently supporting Israel's war on African asylum seekers. And what is this demographic threat they're so afraid of? Even if you count all the African asylum seekers in the country, they only amount to 0.7% of the population.